Guten Abend, ihr Lieben. Good evening, everybody. Or good morning, good night, or whatever. And now I'm getting a call from my son at the right second. Give me a second. Hallo. Ja, was ist denn? Ja, ich habe gerade den Stream gestartet. Du bist live. Sagst du mir schnell, worum es geht? Aber man hört dich nicht. Ja, genau. Nee, das andere, das andere. Ja, genau. 200. Mhm. Okay. Bis wieder. Tschüss. Okay, sorry. Um, this was my son. He needed to get some advice on cooking, which I'm the expert for. Okay, first let me do this in German. Also, herzlich willkommen zur Fragestunde mit Chris Harms. Das bin ich. Sie kennen mich vielleicht aus Funk und Fernsehen oder vom ESC. Ähm, heute läuft es so, ich beantworte eure Fragen und ich arbeite so ein bisschen von hinten nach vorne. Also ich habe hier ganz viele Fragen schon gescreenshottet von Social Media und ich werde tatsächlich die am zuerst gestellten Fragen zuerst beantworten, versuche mich durchzuarbeiten. Das sind so viele, viele Fragen werde ich versuchen sehr kurz zu beantworten, weil ich immer gerne ja dann sehr doll aushole, aber einige Fragen sind auch sehr schnell beantwortet. Ähm, des Weiteren ist es natürlich so, wir haben wieder NASA im Stream im Hintergrund, die Administration macht, die Kommentare von euch checkt und mir auch Fragen von euch hier nochmal reinwirft. Falls ihr Tipps schickt, sagt man das so richtig? Falls ihr Geld tippt, dann ist es natürlich wieder so, dass die Hälfte des Geldes an NASA geht, die andere Hälfte behalte ich und schmeiß in sie in wir kaufen das Chamäleon Studios in den wir kaufen die Chameleon Studios Topf. Das ist ein recht großer Topf, weil wir hier über eine sechsstellige Summe reden, die hier zusammenkommen muss und Krediten bei den Banken mit den Prozenten gerade furchtbar sind. Deshalb nur, dass ihr wisst, wo euer Geld bleibt. Und das war's, glaube ich. Seid nett zueinander im Chat. Wir streamen ungefähr 2 Stunden. Und jetzt sage ich nochmal kurz auf Englisch Hallo. Ach ja, deutsche Frage, deutsche Antwort, englische Frage, englische Antwort. Okay, let me switch to English. Last things first, German question equals German answer. English question equals English answer. I will try to mix it up as good as it gets. I'm sorry if you may not understand German and might not follow for a while here. I have many questions. I will try to answer some of them very quickly because I tend to talk a lot in these Q&As, which is the sense of it. It's therefore talking a lot. But some things can be answered very quickly. And so I will go from back to front. So you have been asking already many questions on social media, and I will answer the first questions that you asked like 1-2 weeks ago. I will answer these first and then go back and I try to get as many as I can. Also, you can put questions in the chat. NASA, our administrator, also our light girl and Twitch bitch, as you know, she will forward the ones she finds interesting to me, and I will try to see them as well here in the chat. Oh yeah, and if you feel like you want to tip money, which of course is not mandatory, we have the same deal here. So NASA always gets half of the money for her work, and the rest I will keep for the undertaking called buying Chameleon Studios in Hamburg, which isn't easy because, you know, credits at the bank with the percentage at the moment is sky high. It doesn't really make sense. So we try to gather the money from somewhere else, and it's a quite high 6-digit number, which is not easy. So just so you know where the money is going. Okay, let me start. First question is German. Ich sage nicht, wer die Fragen stellt, ne? Das ist ja letztendlich egal. Und wenn ihr selber die Frage hört, werdet ihr wissen, ob sie von euch war oder nicht. Frage, werden die restlichen geplanten Videos von dem Soloalbum vor der Veröffentlichung des neuen Lord of Lost Albums erscheinen? Ja, auf jeden Fall, hundertprozentig. Ich habe mit Absicht einen Zeitraum gewählt, wo es einmal kurz ganz egozentrisch nur um mich geht. Und dieser Zeitraum ist auch mit Absicht so gewählt worden, dass er auch im Vorfeld Lord of Lost nicht stört. Also nicht mal das Lordfest stört. Deshalb direkt nach dem Lordfest ging es los. Mit einmal ein paar Wochen Chris Harms, bis das Album rauskommt und dann ist gut und dann konzentriere ich mich wieder auf Lord of Lost. Das heißt, es wird natürlich alles vorher rauskommen. Ein Video gibt es noch zu dem Song Lunamore und dann kommt das Album und dann schließe ich das erstmal ab und dann denke ich, werde ich in 2 Jahren oder so nochmal ein weiteres Album nachlegen. Das ist so der Plan. English question. I read all these questions. Maybe I say I don't want to answer it because I didn't filter them before. I just screenshotted them. And so let's see. Hi, Chris. I've noticed that your songs resonate differently with each listener. How does it feel knowing that your music sparks such diverse interpretations? Does it change the way you view your own work? I mean, that's a normal thing, and I think that's the beauty of it. This is why I like lyrics so much, which do not really explain things piece by piece in detail, so that they leave a lot of room for interpretation. And sometimes I read or hear interpretations from others or see them in reaction videos, and then I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know that this could be a way to see it. And sometimes it's even more beautiful than what I intended. I'm like, wow, that's even a better picture. Sometimes it's hilarious because sometimes I or we with Lord of Lost, we do things just for fun. We put something in a music video on the lyrics or a little piece of music somewhere, which is just entertaining. And then people see something in it, like this shows the symbol of the archangel from the 77th page of the Bible. And, you know, I'm just joking with you, but you know what I mean. So these things can be really interesting and spicy. Wie ist es dir gelungen, dich so in diese Zeit zurückzuversetzen? Du warst ja mitten in den 80ern noch sehr jung, um diesen Vibe zu spüren. Ich kann mich, ich habe den Vibe der 80er als Kind nicht gespürt. Als Kind bin ich Fahrrad gefahren und habe Staudämme gebaut. Ich denke, ich habe einfach viel 80er Musik gehört in den letzten 15 Jahren, weshalb ich mich da so reinversetzen kann. Das ist aber reproduktiv irgendwie, weil, wie gesagt, ich war ein Kind. Vielleicht eine zweite deutsche Frage. Häufig geht es in euren Liedern um den Tod. Wenn du einen Song wie zum Beispiel My Constellation singst, konzentrierst du dich auf den Text oder denkst du auch an liebe Menschen, die bereits gestorben sind? Also bei My Constellation denke ich gar nicht an Leute, die gestorben sind. Ich weiß, das war nur ein Beispiel. Also My Constellation ist für mich eigentlich ein sehr positiver Song. Ähm, aber das ist mal so, mal so. Also jede Live-Performance oder auch im Studio ist anders. Manchmal konzentriert man sich nur darauf, gut abzuliefern. Gerade vielleicht an Tagen, wo man mit seiner Stimme kämpft oder es ist auf der Bühne kalt oder es geht einem nicht so gut oder so, dann macht man halt nur seinen Job. Und manchmal kann man die Augen zumachen und ist komplett in dieser Welt und macht dann richtig eine Zeitreise oder hat wirklich auch eine Person vor Augen, die muss aber nicht gestorben sein, die kann natürlich auch leben. Das ist total verschieden, so wie alles im Leben verschieden ist. Also ich denke, es ist vergleichbar mit Musik hören. Du hörst sicherlich auch mal einen Song und da passieren krasseste Bilder im Kopf und dann kannst du aber auch einen Song hören und währenddessen darüber nachdenken, was du nachher bei Rewe kaufst. Also das ist super, super unterschiedlich. Oh yeah, this one is interesting. I, and not only me, many people, noticed some similarities between your solo album 1980 and Dero's solo album, so Dero from ex-Oomph, called 1984. The album title, the artwork, the style, is it just a coincidence or is there some connection? Sorry, I know you hate to talk about Dero, but it's not about him. If it was some other artist, the question would be the same. First, I don't hate to talk about him. I just refuse to say anything bad about our experience together or anything bad about him as a person. Just because we divided our paths and are going separate ways now does not mean that I hate to talk about him or that I have to talk bad about him in any way. Well, to your question, is there some connection? Yes, of course, there's a connection. The connection is our love for electronic music and the 80s. And I remember him and me when we were working on Die Kreatur, that we were talking about things like, hey, if we ever go solo again, next thing would be electronic, very much 80s. So we pretty I pretty much knew that from him, that he would go for something like this, and the other way around. I talked about the album title of 1980 like 10 years ago already in interviews, when I said like one day I'm gonna make some 80s record, and which is just so logical because 1980 is just my birth year, and his album title, I didn't listen to the record. I just listened to one song when it came out, like I think already 2 years ago, something called Game Boy, which didn't sound that 80s actually, and I don't know about the artwork. I haven't checked it, but when you say it's kind of the same, it makes sense when his album is also kind of 80s heavy, which I know he loves. Um, I think I'm pretty sure, and when I know many things about the things he's interested in, his mindset. So 1984 sounds very much like he's referring to Orwell, that book. So this would make sense. So I guess his lyrics might be much more dystopian in the record than mine, which is pretty much basically most of them are love songs. So, but yeah, that's the only connection. It's our love for 80s music, and that's it. Yeah, so maybe another German one. Was hat dich damals dazu bewogen, an der SAE zu studieren? Ich habe SAE studiert, also School of Audio Engineering, Universität für Tontechnik, wenn man so möchte, Schule für Tontechnik, wie auch immer. Ich war im Studio mit meiner damaligen Band und dachte, wow, das ist geil, das möchte ich beruflich machen. Ich will wissen, wie das alles geht. Wo kann man das studieren? Ein Freund von mir, der auch in meiner Band spielt, der hat das studiert. Das schien das einzig Sinnvolle zu sein, neben einer Ausbildung zum Veranstaltungskaufmann, Ton, Bild, irgendwas beim NDR. Ähm, Dann habe ich das gemacht. Also wir reden hier von 2002. Da gab es tatsächlich auch nicht so viele Optionen. Inzwischen gibt es ein paar mehr. Aber ja, das war geil. Ja, es hat mir sehr viel gebracht, hat sehr viel Spaß gemacht. Ich habe dann ja auch 15 Jahre an der SAE doziert. Ich wollte wissen, wie es geht. Ich wollte wissen, wie man Musik produziert. Ähm, there's so many German. One more German. Ich wüsste gern, warum du dich für ein Blastover des Lore-Tattoos entschieden hast. Haha, Blastover, ganz wichtig. Blastover heißt, man sieht das Original-Tattoo noch durch. Das ist kein Cover-up. Sehr schön. Du weißt Bescheid. Hängen alle kürzlichen Veränderungen, Haarschnitt, neue Tattoos irgendwie zusammen? Gab es je einen speziellen Jetzt mache ich's Moment? Ähm, Nee, das hängt nicht wirklich zusammen. Also es ist jetzt nicht so, dass man denkt ja immer, Menschen schneiden sich die Haare ab und machen krasse Veränderungen nach irgendwelchen Schicksalsschlägen. Also das ist ja das typische Ding in irgendeinem Film. Ja, ein Pärchen trennt sich, am nächsten Tag geht die Frau zum Friseur und er kauft sich ein Motorrad oder so, keine Ahnung. Das hat da es gab keine Schicksalsschläge, die mich dazu bewegt haben, aber natürlich gab es Dinge, die passiert sind. Und bei den Haaren ist maßgeblich passiert, die sahen einfach scheiße aus. Und alle Haare, die länger waren als das hier, sind zu 80% abgebrochen. Das heißt, ich hatte diese Haarpracht und dann hinten so ein kleines, dünnes Schwänzchen, so eine Zündschnur. Und das sah einfach nur noch dumm aus, weil das ist einfach durch das Bleichen, die fallen ja nicht aus, aber man hat dann chemischen Haarschnitt, die brechen dann hier irgendwo ab. Also habe ich Folgendes gemacht. Ich habe meinen geilen Dupu Fizzo gemacht. Das ist mein Duschputz- und Fegzopf. Diesen hier, ihr kennt den. Und habe den hier oben hingemacht, sodass ich immer noch die Haare zumachen kann. Und dann habe ich eine Schere angesetzt und abgeschnitten. Und fertig war die Frisur. Und ich finde das eigentlich ganz geil, wenn die hinten so ein bisschen, also hier hinten so kürzer sind, dann kann man die so lustig hochtrippieren. Und hier hinten so ein bisschen Fokuhila-mäßig hängen und vorne lang sind. Ich glaube, ich lasse die ganz vorne und ganz hinten gerade mal lang wachsen und lasse die hier hinten ein bisschen kurz. Das finde ich eigentlich ganz geil. Ist vielleicht so ein bisschen End-90er, aber stehe ich irgendwie drauf. Und ich lasse jetzt erstmal rauswachsen. Also gucken, vielleicht mache ich die mal dunkelsilber oder so. Ende des Monats haben wir Lord of Lost Fotoshoots und Videodrehs fürs nächste Album. Und das mit den Tattoos, ich will das seit Jahren machen. Einfach mal was Neues sehen. Aber es ist nicht so, dass ich mich hiervon trennen möchte. Oder auch das Blood and Glitter Symbol ist ja auch hier drunter. Wollte ich mich auch nicht von trennen, aber ich habe halt nicht mehr wirklich viel Fläche. Also ist die einzige Möglichkeit für mich, nur was Neues zu machen, indem ich über den alten Kram rübergehe. Und das ist auch noch lange nicht fertig. Also da passiert noch viel. Hier kommen noch Schattierungen rein. Mache ich den ganzen Oberkörper dicht. Ich mache die ganzen Arme bis unten, fast alles nochmal neu. Dann mache ich meine Disney-Prinzessin auf dem Rücken. Und also ich plane jetzt dieses Jahr alle 2 Wochen mich tätowieren zu lassen, bis ich nicht mehr kann, weil ich gerade Bock drauf habe und gerade irgendwie die Zeit ist. Dieses Jahr ist endlich mal ein bisschen ruhiger als die letzten 2,5. Okay, finally an English question for you. That's just German ones. There. How are the efforts to purchase Chameleon Studios coming along? Oh, just talked about that. No, I'm not. We're not close, not at all. We were close short before COVID, and then COVID happened, and then interest in all banks went sky high. Then the war on Ukraine and it's like all these things happened. The whole economy and the whole everything regards banking and credit so much. It's yeah, it's the horror. And when I say the horror, I'm deeply aware of the fact that there are worse problems in the world than buying a studio. So I say the horror, knowing that I'm complaining here within my bubble. I know this is not a real problem. This is a luxury problem. Oh, look at that. I just received that today. So if you order something in my shop, my solo album, everything will be packed with this nice tape. I will of course also sell it in the shop, because why not? Because I had to make like 300 of these fucking rolls. And I'm not gonna need 300 of them, but I couldn't do less. So I'm selling as much as you want, basically. Gonna be in the shop soon. German question. Können wir im Oktober bei den Lords of Fire Konzerten Songs von eurem neuen Album erwarten? Oh ja. Ab Juni, Juli schon auf Festivals könnt ihr neue Songs erwarten. English question. I have questions relevant to the new album release, but I'll save them for later. Okay. My daughter just turned 9, is a lot of Lost fan. I love you song, Taylor Swift, Dings, Bums. Did you have a period in your young life when you felt very unconfident about being yourself and liking the things you like? Was there anything that helped you? Yes, there was. And the answer might not make you happy. Time. Time helped me. Getting older means not caring about all these things that are really not important, but seemed so important all your life. And suddenly you realize some things really don't matter. So there's no shortcut in these things. And I'm still sometimes very unconfident about things. I'm just we artists, we mostly show our strong suit and post all the great picture, all the glitz and glamour and all the great things we achieve, and we all look like rock star, and we drive nice cars and have big houses and beautiful pets, and but all of this is just bullshit. It's I'm not different than anybody else, and I feel very much down sometimes, and I have to find a way to get up, and I have to ask friends to help me get up, or they see that I need help, so I don't even have to ask, and I'm around all these beautiful people when we're on tour. My band, my crew, which is like 1 second big family. So it's like Nasa's one of these persons. I'm just looking at her here. So, but yeah, the answer is time. Time will tell so many things. Deutsche Frage. Ich habe auch eine Tattoo-Frage. Die Frauenfigur vor dem Segelschiff. Ah, ich habe ja ein Segelschiff auf dem Bein, ja. Erinnert mich an die Darstellung der Piratin Anne Bonny. Ist das die Inspirationsquelle? Nee, kenne ich nicht. Ich hatte einfach Bock auf ein Seemannstattoo. Und dazu gehört eine halbnackte Frau von einem Segelschiff. Mm. Kannst du dir vorstellen, bei Sing meinen Song mitzumachen? Ja, kann ich. Ich habe mich auch schon beworben. Ich habe mich direkt nach dem ESC beworben, wo wir der Hot Shit waren. und auch für die Mainstream-Presse einigermaßen interessant waren. Jetzt sind wir für die Mainstream-Presse wieder nicht mehr so interessant, was völlig scheißegal ist, aber für so Formate wie Sing mein Song natürlich fatal, wenn man dann so ein bisschen vom Radar verschwindet. Ich habe mich da wieder gemeldet und wieder angefragt. Ich war tatsächlich auch schon mal in einer engeren Auswahl, habe dann aber doch leider eine Absage erhalten und bin aber ermutigt worden, auch immer wieder nachzufragen. Also ich bin mit dem Produzenten der Sendung im Gespräch und möchte es unbedingt machen. Ich finde die Show großartig. Das ist ja auch irgendwie klar. Wie häufig haben wir mit Lord of Lost irgendwie andere Künstler gecovert oder uns covern lassen oder das Song-Experiment, was wir für Judas gemacht haben, was ja prinzipiell irgendwie so ein bisschen in diese Richtung Sing meinen Song geht. Und ich gehöre zu den Vertretern, die sagen, guter Song funktioniert in jedem Genre. Und deshalb liebe ich diese Show, dass man einfach dass Künstler zusammen von völlig verschiedenen Genres gegenseitig ihre Songs singen und daraus ihr Ding machen. Das finde ich super interessant und da ein bisschen mehr Alternative reinzubringen in diese Welt und eben nicht nur, äh, ich weiß nicht, ob die jetzt mitgemacht haben, aber ihr wisst, was ich meine, wenn ich sage, nicht nur die Johannes Oerdings und Vincent Weiss in so einer Sendung zu haben, womit ich die jetzt nicht dissen möchte, sondern einfach nur als Beispiel für Popularmusik, fände ich das sehr interessant. Next question. Yeah. Okay, that's not a question. English question. Do you feel your voice has changed over the years? And cheers, I need to drink something. Hmm. Best Coca-Cola in the world. Do you think your voice has changed over the years and have particular types of singing become easier, more difficult for you? Yes, it has changed. I only have to go back 5 or 6 years to live recordings or to an album, I'm like, oh, that's me. Because when we play these songs live, um, this is for me the song now. I very rarely go back and then listen to how it sounded on, let's say, an album like Empyrean, because there's no need for me to listen to the original. Um, but sometimes I do, and then I'm like, oh, I did it this way. And sometimes I really like it. I'm like, okay, maybe I should pick that up. And maybe I'm like, oh no, I would do this differently right now. I like it much more in a different way. Or I'm like, okay, I can do this much better. So what has become easier for me is finding the right notes, Intonation has become easier. I can sing higher in a clean voice because of all the practicing. I have lost a little of my very, very high head voice, which is a normal thing when you get older, because I can actually do that. I can go very much soprano high in a head voice and do all the BGs, backing vocals things. And I've lost nearly an octave there within the last 25 years. But hey, that's just normal. That happens. Ähm, Deutsche Frage. Ändern sich deine Gefühle zu einem Song, wenn er veröffentlicht wird und sozusagen von privat beziehungsweise kleiner Kreis zu öffentlich bekannt wechselt oder über die Zeit, wenn er später immer wieder live gespielt wird? Die Veröffentlichung an sich ändert nichts an dem Gefühl zu dem Song, weil das etwas Passives ist, die ich erlebe mit der Veröffentlichung des Songs nicht aktiv etwas, außer das Wissen, dass er veröffentlicht ist. Wenn ich Songs aber live spiele, ändern sich die Gefühle zu dem Song und auch, wie sich der Song anfühlt, was ich eben gerade meinte, wie sich auch die Stimme verändert und anfühlt. Ähm, ja, auf jeden Fall. Manchmal wachsen Songs mit der Zeit an einen heran und man findet sie geiler und manchmal findet man auch Songs nach ein paar Jahren auf einmal irgendwie nicht mehr so cool oder die Gefühle gehen überhaupt nicht in eine qualitative Einordnung, sondern sie können jedweder Couleur sein. Ne? Also dieses Gefühlsleben von Menschen, gerade in Bezug auf Musik, ist so vielfältig und das gilt natürlich auch für die eigene Musik. Hast du schon ein Urlaubsziel für dieses Jahr? Jein, also ich habe so ein paar Sachen, wo ich im Sommer mal hin will und auch im Herbst. Für die Märzferien muss ich jetzt umdenken. Eigentlich war die Idee, so einen Family-Urlaub in Neuseeland und Australien zu machen, weil wir in Australien spielen sollten. Dachte ich, einmal kurz vorher nach Neuseeland, bisschen nach Hobbitland fahren, ne? Ein bisschen da gucken, wo Herr der Ringe gedreht wurde. Und Dann nochmal irgendwie eine Woche Australien, gleich da bleiben, die Tour spielen. Ähm, Das wäre halt schön gewesen, das zu kombinieren, weil man ja nicht mal so eben auf die andere Seite der Welt fliegt. Aber dadurch, dass jetzt leider die Australien-Tour nicht stattfindet, weil die Veranstalter da mit dem Geld abgehauen sind und die Firma aufgelöst haben, völliger Wahnsinn, möchte ich da jetzt nicht trotzdem dahin fahren, sondern wird dann irgendwas anderes aussuchen und das dann irgendwie aufsparen. Aber was ich jetzt genau für Ziele habe, das behalte ich immer ganz gerne für mich, bis ich dann da bin, weil ich habe ja schon so ein paar, gerade in jüngster Zeit, wirklich negative Erfahrungen auch gemacht mit Leuten, die es nicht gut mit mir meinen und die müssen ja nicht vorher unbedingt wissen, wo ich hin verreise. Is there a reason so many of your songs are songwriting collaborations? You can obviously write well on your own, so I wondered if it's a conscious decision to involve others so much. For example, is it to help get ideas flowing or more like an editing process to help improve things? Yes, 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 and yes, everything. But first of all, it just I've written, I or co-written. I can't even tell you a number. I have like 1,500 songs or co-writes registered. And this is just the songs that are registered and got released. And I can't tell you how much it is like in total. If you've done so many songs, then after a while, you realize it's just fun to work with others, to share ideas, to go back and forth. It's a little like, I don't know, let's say you plan a birthday party for a friend. Of course, you can sit down and think about it yourself, and you might plan a party very well. And maybe sometimes you really want that because you want it to be your party that you planned for your friend. It's a very personal thing for you to do that. But then you sit down with other people, with one person or two or three, and then you go back and forth, and all these ideas are exploding, and you think about things that you never thought that you could actually think about. And then this party looks like very much different. Maybe in the end, the connection to yourself is a little less personal, but it has so many other sparks to it. And then for the next party, you invite a different person to plan the party with, you know? And this is why I do both of it. Sometimes I still write songs just on my own. Sometimes it just happens and then song is ready. And sometimes I really want that. I'm like, okay, I need to finish that on my own. It should be just my feelings in there. And it's maybe even like therapy for me to do that. And but in most cases I like playing ping pong with sounds and with others. After so many songs, it's just a logical thing to do. I know some people don't like that, and sometimes also egos are involved. Like, no, this should all be mine. Or sometimes people even say a band should not invite others to write with them. That's not true. And like, for me, the truest thing is when you sit down with friends and create something that you love, working together with friends and being creative. What's not true about that? Should I be just reduced to, is it like I married these guys in the band and I have to be faithful to them, and if I write with others, then I'm like one night standing. I'm having a like songwriting one night stand with someone else. It's like, that's just bullshit. All this trueness discussions, like, fuck that. Gibt es ein Lied von deinem Album, welches dir von seiner Bedeutung her für dich am Herzen liegt, mit dem du viel verbindest? Ja, viele. Die Songs sind viele von denen sehr, sehr persönlich und auch sehr traurig. Ich glaube, das ist relativ offensichtlich. Eigentlich fast alle. Fast alle Songs sind Love-Songs auf dem Album, bis auf zwei, drei irgendwie. Um, when listening to the tracks, we mostly hear synths and programmed elements such as drums. Were any other instruments played into the recordings? Did you personally play the synths and handle the programming, or did others contribute to them? Additional, how will you arrange these songs for live gigs? There will only be one live gig, so there's gonna be a band on stage with one playing the keyboards, one electric drums, and one playing a digital guitar. And then, of course, stuff from the computer because it's like basically electronic music. I arranged and played and produced everything together with my friend Corvin. I just made a post about him a couple of days ago. And it's only synthetic instruments except for my voice. My voice is the only, let's say, organic instrument. I don't say real instrument because a keyboard is a real instrument, but it's an electronic instrument. It's not an organic one. So, and we even went one step further. We only used keyboards and synthesizers and drum machines and drum samples from 1980 to 1989, or simulations slash emulations of it, because of course nowadays you can get some 80s synthesizer as a plugin on your computer, which emulates the old synthesizer, or when it's a sample player, plays the samples from back then. So talking about trueness, this record production wise, it's all true 80s in that sense. Even for the mix down, many of the things we used, like reverbs, is emulations from old digital 80s reverbs and all these kind of things. Of course, in the analytical part of the mix, when it comes to EQing and compressors and stuff, then it's all modern stuff. Because I really don't want to go back there for these to these times, but in all the creative process, it's all 80s. If you could be an animal, insect, bird, etc. for a day, what would you be and why? I don't know. I don't like these kind of questions. No offense, but it's like I'm just the wrong person to answer these questions. I used to answer these for many years because I felt obliged to do it, but it's just like I read it and I'm like, I I don't know. I don't care. This is also about samples, real instruments. By which 80s bands are you inspired from 1980? I don't know. No, not just one special band. Pick any random Spotify synth pop playlist from the 80s and it's all there. It's just general 80s electronic 80s sound. Is there a German question? So many English ones for now. I guess there's just more English people here. Okay, then sorry for all the Germans that don't speak German. Sorry, alle Deutschen, wenn ihr nicht Englisch sprecht, aber es sind gerade einfach nur englische Fragen hier. I just pre-ordered your solo album. Thank you. I was wondering if you would ever do a tour on that album. You know, people should never say never, but I don't plan to tour with that album, or I don't plan to go on tour with that project. There will be one show at Mera Luna, and maybe here and there there's going to be a single show, but I'm already more on tour than I actually like to be on tour. This might change when my son is grown up and moved out of the house. Then I might be like, yeah, why not tour all year? But for me, touring is always like, for me, that's not the premium part of the job. You know, it comes with so much traveling and waiting. And I love the 30, 60, 90, 100, 120, whatever minutes on stage. But everything else around it, apart from the company to the people I love, my friends, I'm not a touring person. So I don't plan to tour. Will Sacrament of Judas be available via streaming anytime? Yes, soon on YouTube. Is the song question? I think that the song "I Love You" could sound great also in Swan Song style. Do you consider making some songs from 1980 in other versions? I made all of these songs in other versions. If you bought the first, if you pre-ordered the first limited edition box, there's a third CD in it with all the songs just with electronic piano, but you know, like the real kitschy one, the Phil Collins kind of, you know, which sounds a little like bells. And it's just this and my voice. These are the other versions, but I don't actually plan to take Chris Harm's solo songs and turn them into a lot of lost orchestral songs. I mean, I think it would make sense. I think the guys of the band would be fine with that, but we have so many great Lord of Lost songs that could be turned into Swan songs, and we have so many. There's already a folder with like 10 songs being written for a possible Swan songs for some time. They just have to be produced. So we have too many songs already. Your solo songs feel so deeply emotional and introspective. That's a great word, introspective. When you're writing music, do you feel like you're processing your emotions in real time, or is it more about reflecting on past experiences? Um, it's both. It's first processing about mostly every every time it's different, but mostly it's first about reflecting on past experiences, and while creating the song, it's like reliving these things in real time. Um, Lots of time, yeah. You seem to have learned some Finnish well. Yeah, I mean, a couple of words. What Finnish musicians do you listen to? Oh, there's lots of Finnish bands. I mean, like from the late 90s, starting with bands like Him or 69 Eyes, you know. But right now, I mean, Käärijä, come on, I'm loving him. I love to listen to his album. His album is just great. The weird mixture of rap, electronic music, and some rock and metal elements in it, and all the weirdness. Although I don't understand a single word in Finnish, is great. You've said that there will be a second solo album sometime in the future. Would you like to continue this 80s theme, or is there any other specific timeline or genre that you would like to explore? No, actually, I think when I do a second album, I'm gonna stay in this lane. I'm not gonna call the record 1981. Um, there should be a different name, but I think I want to stay in this theme. Excuse me, the great thing about releasing stuff just under your name, Chris Harms, gives me the freedom thou to release whatever I want. I don't have to invent a new project for whatever I do. It's more like, you know, let's say David Bowie. And don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing myself to someone like David Bowie, but it's just a name comparison. And him being a genre-free artist, David Bowie did all this stuff through decades. He did like so many genres. And if I one day feel like I want to release a German, and Germany would say Liedermacher record, which would be just me and acoustic guitar. Like it's more like, yeah, let's say it's a storyteller kind of stuff, you know, singer-songwriter. I could do that. It could also be a Chris Harms album. And so there's no limitations to that. But I think in like, let's say 2.5, maybe 3 years, it's time for a second Chris Harms 80s style album. Okay, let's check for a German one so far. There's just no German ones. There! Wie funktioniert eigentlich Dynamic Pricing bei Konzertkarten? Wer entscheidet, ob es angewendet wird und wer profitiert davon? Künstler, Label, Veranstalter, Event und Ticketmaster. Keine Ahnung, ich weiß auch nicht, was das ist. Weiß ich nicht. Muss mal googeln. Ich kann dir leider nicht helfen. Da bin ich Künstler. Also wie Konzertkartenpreise zustande kommen. Zum Glück bin ich kein Booker und kein Veranstalter und habe ich auch keinen Bock zu sein. No offense, aber ich kann dir da leider nicht helfen. Ich weiß es nicht. Ich erlaube mir über sowas einfach nur Künstler zu sein. Mm, some of us asked questions in the last couple of days under your previous post for the Q&A. I hope you see them too. Yes, I do. when I tell you I'm checking them, I'm checking them. In addition, I have a third question in case no one else has asked. Are you a lot of Lost planning to do any acoustic shows this year? No. Maybe next year, but that maybe is not a hint. Just saying maybe. Rather not a question for Q&A, but in the beginning of She Called Me Dear Val, and later three, if I'm not mistaken, times, there's a voice in the background. Is it Benji? Because it sounds like Benji. Why is it not a question for the Q&A? It's a question. I can you gave me a Q. I give you an A. No, there's no Benji. There's no Benji on the record at all. Benji was not involved in anything on the record. And the only voice you hear on the record on all the songs is me, except for the guest vocalists, Sven of Solar Fake and Ronan of VNV Nation. And for the ones that do not like features, on the bonus CD, on the 2 CD edition, there's also so-called solitude versions of both of these songs without the guests, in case you prefer to just listen to me because you just don't like Sven or Ronan, which I wouldn't understand, but that's your taste. So to circle back to your question, no, it's all me. I think you're referring to the head voice, the high melody, which goes with the synth. No, that's all me. All choirs, all backing vocals. Sometimes there's like 100 Chris Harms in the back that like literally 100 Chris Harms in the back that sing all these nice Pet Shop Boys kind of sounding big choirs. Yeah. Another English one. You just wrote about writing lyrics with Anthony J. Brown and made me curious to see how the lyrics have been developed in these songs. Would you ever share some of the earlier drafts of the lyrics if you have kept hold of these? I think it would be fun to see the difference between how the song. And which song of yours, A Lot of Lost, is the most different lyrically from how it started, how it ended up? No, I don't keep the old ones because it's not like I'm starting something and then I ask Anthony like, hey, you feel like you want to finish it? And then I make a second version. It's like this one document and then stuff is being changed until the end. And I tend to change stuff until last minute when I'm sitting in front of the microphone singing. Then I'm like, while I'm singing, although I sang it in some demo for me or whatever, I'm like, no, I need to change this line because something how phonetically the word sings doesn't feel well, or I need one syllable more or one syllable less, or I don't really feel the word. I have to come up with an alternative. So I always change some things until last minute. So I never keep the old ones. And I think I wouldn't really want to release them because then they stay released and people mix them up. And there are so many misheard lyrics out there. Not the fun ones, like the real ones, the real misheard ones that people think these are the true lyrics. And some of them even are uploaded to Spotify because everybody seems to be able to upload songs on Spotify by this music match app, and you can just like upload your misheard lyrics there, and they appear in the official artist's profile, which I don't get how that works, but whatever, it's not my job. So yeah, no. And which song is the most different lyrical from how it started and to how it ended up? I don't remember. As soon as the lyrics are done, this is what feels right then. And this is the status quo. And sometimes I barely remember how many percentage of these was mine. When I write lyrics with Pi or Anthony or someone else, I have to ask the other person sometimes, like, do you remember how much is from me, how much is from you? If both of us don't, we just split 50-50. And sometimes they have an answer. And sometimes they go like, hey, this was your lyrics. I just did like, I was just checking for grammar mistakes. I'm like, really? Sometimes they go like, hey, that was pretty much my story and you just added some parts. I'm like, okay, it's like, it can be everything. So in most cases, when I work together on a song with someone, in most cases, we agree on just 50-50 from the start of the three people, then we share three-way. Because this way, you avoid people try to push in their ideas just to have a bigger piece of the cake later. Like, hey, I came up with a new chorus for the song because that means more percentage from me and maybe some more money for me later or something. It's like, then money would kill creativity. So when I get in a room with someone, we're like, okay, let's sit down, write a song. Then we say like, whoever comes up with what, let's just split 50-50. So in the end, so this is what we mostly do. Okay, maybe I will take care of some of the questions from the chat for a little while, and all of them are English. So many English people here. Let me do one quick German one. Okay, that sounded very wrong. Very wrong. Gab es besondere Herausforderungen bei der Produktion von 1980? Zum Beispiel Stellen in Songs, wo du lange überlegen oder probieren musstest, bis sie in deinen Ohren gelungen waren? Und die zweite Frage, war dir direkt bei jedem Lied klar, das wird ein Chris Song, oder gab es hier durchaus Überlegungen, dass da vielleicht doch etwas für Lord of Lost und so weiter? Nö. Zur ersten Frage musste ich nicht lange probieren. Das ging alles super easy, schnell. Alle Songs wurden geschrieben und produziert zwischen Mitte Juni und Ende September, Anfang Oktober. Und nein, keiner dieser Songs stand jemals zur Debatte für was anderes zu sein. Alle Songs wurden exklusiv für Chris Harms 1980 Album geschrieben, außer einer, Vagueness of Faith. Das ist ein sehr alter Song von mir, den habe ich geschrieben 2003 oder 2004, als ich zum ersten Mal mit Synthesizern rumprobiert habe. Und da habe ich ein altes Demo gefunden und das dann nochmal so ein bisschen reworked, also die Musik nochmal so ein bisschen, ein paar Sachen umgeschrieben, Lyrics nochmal relativ viel rausgeschmissen, nochmal umgeschrieben. Das ist ein alter Song, der mir sehr gefiel und der gut reinpasste, aber alles andere ist tatsächlich exklusiv dafür entstanden. Okay, let's check some questions here. Hi Chris, how did the album 1980 come about? Did you already have in mind to make it? Or was it a stroke of genius? A stroke of genius. I had, as if you are in the chat from the early beginning, the first time I thought about doing an album like this was 10 years ago or even more, maybe 15. And I don't know. And I wanted to call an album like that 1980, like many, many times. And I just always waited, like, okay, there was no time, there's no time, there's no time. It's like people are waiting for the perfect moment to conceive children. And then they realize there's never a perfect moment. Either you want children or not. So you just do it. And this is what I did with the album. I was on summer holiday and was like, okay, we have so many plans with Lord of Lost. If I'm not going to do this album now, and if I don't release it before March 2025, then I don't have a chance to release it until the end of 2027, because we have so many plans with Lord of Lost. I was like, okay, I can't wait another 3 years. So I said, I will just do it right now. So I called Corbin, my co-producer and co-writer. We did all the music and all the production. I was like, Corbin, do you want to co-write and produce my 80s record from now till the end of September? And he said, yeah. And we did it. Which album, Lord of Lost, evolves musically with each album, Lord of Lost evolves musically. What do you think will surprise fans the most about this upcoming release? I'm not gonna tell you. No, that was just me trying to sound mystical to a question which I need to answer with my love for logic. Everyone will be surprised by something else, and some people will not be surprised at all. Some will love it, some will hate it, some will say, sounds all the same, some will say, sounds all different, I don't like it. Some will say, it sounds all different, I love it. Some will say, it sounds all the same, I love it. So, I don't know, I don't think about that. But I'm sure many people will be surprised with many elements. Sometimes it's just a new song, which can be surprising. In an interview, you mentioned that when you were younger, you worked in clubs. Did that have an influence on you too? In brackets, album. Uh, are you talking about my 1980 album? I didn't work in clubs in the 80s. I'm not that old. I was born in 1980. I turned 10 in 1990. When I worked in clubs, I was 18, actually younger, but I think I'm not allowed to say that. So let's say I was 18 and I worked in clubs till I was, I don't know, 23 or 4, but I didn't think that had an influence on me musically. So also not on this album. Ist der Verlust der Oktave der Grund, dass die höheren Noten bei zum Beispiel Raining Stars schwieriger werden? Nein, ich sprach über meine hohe Kopfstimme, über also die Kopfstimme, was viele vielleicht als Mädchenstimme bezeichnen würden. Also die Stimme, das ist die Kopfstimme, die. Und da kam ich früher so hoch, dass ich sogar die komplette Königin der Nacht aus der Zauberflöte mitsingen konnte. So hoch. Also wirklich sehr hoch, 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 hoch. Ich habe das nicht schön mitsingen können, aber ich habe die Töne halbwegs getroffen. Ich kam in die Lage. Und da fehlt mir jetzt eine Oktave. Das ist aber immer noch verdammt hoch. Das mit Raining Stars oben ist einfach schwierig, weil es generell ist, es ist hoch und unglaublich energetisch. Und das ist einfach etwas, ähm, der Song ist meistens recht spät im Set, weil er sich früher im Set nicht so richtig eignet. Und wenn ich den Song als zweites oder drittes sehen würde, dann würde ich ihn viel leichter bekommen. Und würden wir diesen Song nur an 2 Festivals spielen, dann wäre ja kein Problem. Wenn wir ihn aber auf einer Tour spielen, jeden Abend, leidet die Stimme auf der Tour einfach ein bisschen. Da wird es teilweise dann schwierig. Das ist einfach eine reine Fitnessgeschichte. Aber ich redete über die Kopfstimme. Das ist was anderes. Ich habe immer noch eine ganz schön heavy Range, so was Hochgehen angeht. Das heißt nicht, dass ich das gut kann da oben, aber ich komme sehr hoch. Aber nicht mehr bis zur Königin der Nacht. Ähm, Hi, Chris. Are you able to please talk about what happened with the Australian tour? I had tickets for multiple cities and had issues getting refunds for them. Just wanted to know what happened. We posted everything about that in the post. I can't tell you any more. The post says everything. I could just repeat that. And if you need help to maybe sue the company to get your money back or something, please follow our WhatsApp channel or Telegram channel. You find the link on our website, lawofloss.de. There we posted a link where you could actually file a report about the company. But all I know about this is in the post we did about the cancellation of the tour. Sadly, we are standing in front of a riddle ourselves. Sorry. Talking for a while here. Okay, back to many English questions here for a while. Maybe, sorry, let me clean my nose for a second. I thought that's more polite than doing it in front of the microphone, even for people amongst you who love ASMR. Chris Harms cleaning his nose. Here are the sounds. Do you think Laura Frost might do any cover versions of your 1980 songs? Are there any that would be particularly suitable? All songs would be suitable. All songs are just rhythm, harmony, melody, and lyrics. But I don't see a reason to do that, actually. Could be fun, but yeah. if we really run out of ideas, or if we feel like maybe in many years, like, hey, this would be something nice. I had the idea to actually do something called Reloaded with a couple of songs from my very old bands, from Unterart, from The Pleasures, from FYRE, and maybe do a bonus CD at some point with 10 songs taken from these three bands. But this is all so long ago. So let's say maybe, I don't know, in 15, 20 years, we feel like, okay, let's take a Chris Harms song and make a cover version. I wouldn't rule that out. But at the moment or for the next years, I don't see a sense in it. Are there any stories behind any of the songs that you are happy to share? I would love a track by track video discussion. Is the order of the songs on the album important? No, the order is not important. Track by track will come. Not a discussion though, but I will make track by track videos. I have to film them next week or something. And so far, I'm happy if I'm not forced to share the stories. Many of the songs are obviously extremely sad, and it's songs that are touching me a lot, and it's a lot of self-therapy in it. And so far, I think they reveal enough and should stand on their own like that. Would you consider entering Eurovision as a solo artist or co-writing a Eurovision entry for any country? I wrote Eurovision entries in the past for other countries, but they never made it to Eurovision. It was always just in the national finals. I'm considering entering Eurovision whenever, as whatever, Lord of Lost, Chris Harms, or any kind of band, because I love Eurovision. I just like it. So yeah, I would consider that. Okay, let's go back to some questions here. Könntest du dir mal eine Kooperation mit Amaranth, Battle Beast, Ad Infinitum oder Black Veil Brides vorstellen? Ja, muss allerdings sagen, ich kenne keinen einzigen Song von keiner von diesen Bands. Ich kenne die Namen, ähm, und teilweise wären die Wege recht kurz. Amaranth, die Sängerin, hatte ich auch schon mal auf dem Zettel eine, für Gastvocals bei uns. Hat sich dann doch in eine andere Richtung entwickelt. Battle Beast, kein Plan, was das ist. Ad Infinitum, das sind die Wege auch kurz. Das ist ja alles ein ähnlicher Freundeskreis. Jetzt hat NASA eine neue Frage hier reingepostet und zack ist die hier nach oben gerutscht. Frechheit, NASA. Und Black Veil Brides, ich weiß nur, der Sänger hat einen richtig lustigen Nachnamen. Biersack. Aber ich habe noch nie einen Song von denen gehört. Deshalb kann ich schwer sagen, ob ich da Bock hätte, mit denen was zu machen. Ähm, aber ich werde auch jetzt nicht reinhören. Ich höre dann rein, wenn ich das Gefühl habe, ich muss das jetzt hören. Ich bin da sehr picky, wenn es darum geht, neue Musik in mein System zu lassen. Es passieren immer so viele Sachen und ich habe immer nur so ein paar Phasen im Jahr, wo ich das Gefühl habe, jetzt möchte ich gerade mir was anhören. Ähm, Ich kann das nicht einfach so zwischendrin. Das bringt meine innere Ordnung durcheinander. Ist vielleicht schräg für euch, das so zu hören, wo ihr denkt, ihr ist doch Musiker, da hört sich doch den ganzen Tag von 1000 Artists Musik an. Nee, tut er nicht. Ich bin immer sehr involviert in die Projekte, die ich gerade mache und höre immer bestimmte Sachen eine Weile und auch ganz viele Sachen aus sentimentalen Gründen aus meiner Jugend und bin da hab ein relativ geschlossenes System, wo nicht so schnell neue Musik reinkommt. Wie kam es zur Zusammenarbeit mit Sven Friedrich? Und hörst du persönlich oft Solar Fake oder Seraphin? Nee, ich höre nie Solar Fake oder Seraphin. Ähm, aber ich liebe Svens Stimme. Maßgeblich damals von Dreadful Shadows. Das habe ich sehr, sehr gerne gehört. Und ich wollte mit Sven gerne singen, seit ich das Twist in My Sobriety Cover von Dreadful Shadows das erste Mal gehört habe. Vor über 20 Jahren. Insofern war das ein bisschen so ein Bucketlist-Ding. Einmal ein Song mit Sven Friedrich. Kann jetzt einen Haken hintermachen. More English questions. What song or songs have you most enjoyed singing or working on 1980? I can tell you all of them. Who created, came up with the ideas for this beautiful artwork? It was me and the beautiful people of VD Pictures. So I had some things I said like, I want to sit on a horse, although I don't like horses. So there's an artwork of me on a horse. And I said I want to have like something neon, something 80s, something pop art, something like Roy Lichtenstein and these kind of things. And then they sent me some things back, like, what do you think about that? So we always work with a mood board. So we look for references, pictures that already exist. So like, okay, I like this, I like this, I like this, but not this in particular. And so you can kind of set the direction. And then from there, they went and did the beautiful artwork. A question Carly already asked. I'm not sure who Carly is, but okay. Do you feel your voice has changed? Oh, I already answered that. Um, why do you post questions someone else already asked? I'm reading all of them. A question Gloria already asked. Okay, will there be any cello on the next Lord of Lost album? Yes. Off topic, if you have any time left. I have. I wonder if you can recommend anything. I wouldn't recommend anything. Okay, no, there's a certain question. I'm on the lookout for a new microphone, vocals only, home recording only, no home studio, just a quiet room here, blah 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 blah. Doesn't have any studio material. So the thing is, there is not the best microphone in the world, even if there was, and there are some which are like really good. I love the Neumann U67, but that's like 5,000-6,000 euros or something. And I think you are looking for something else. Um, and there are like 3, 4, 5 microphones which are really like top notch, high level, ultimate microphones which work for pretty much everything. But the thing is, a microphone can be as individual as a voice, and so many things are about taste. Of course, there are certain kind of technical things, like if the microphone has like a very bad signal to noise ratio, which means like it just does, and you don't hear your voice, then of course it's shit. This is measurable, but so many things are not measurable. It's just about your taste. So what I would tell you here is, if you have the chance to try a couple of microphones out and compare them, like, and even if it's just 2 or 3 of them, you sing through them the same line, you listen back to them, you're like, okay, I like this, I don't like this, and this is also okay. Then you already have learned something about where you want to go. And another mistake that many people make, they buy like the most expensive microphone in the world, and then they don't have any money left for a good interface or a high quality cable or whatever. And the quality of a signal is always as good as the weakest member of a chain. So if you have like the most shit cable, then the most expensive microphone doesn't bring you shit. So always try to buy everything like on the same level. If you only have money for, let's say, lower mid-price level microphone, then I'll also go with lower mid-price level interface and cables and whatever, kind of keep it on the same level. This will be a much better quality than spending all your money for this good thing being destroyed by all the very cheap elements. I hope that helps. Um, and now I'm getting, it's a little cold. It's a typical game I play. I come from outside, all heated up. Inside it's warm. Then I sit down. Then the system is kind of, you know, shutting down bit by bit. And then you start to feel cold in the exact same environment where 1 hour ago you thought, oh, I'm so hot. Did I just say that, NASA? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it that way. Don't laugh at me. NASA is always hot. Wherever she goes, she's always hot. German question. Mir ist noch eine Frage eingefallen, weil ich gerade zufällig drüber gestolpert bin. Ich weiß aber nicht, ob sie hierher passt. Wie funktioniert eigentlich Dynamic Pricing? Ach, das hatte ich schon, sorry. Maybe I check for something here. Ähm, ja, auf Deutsch. Chris, ich habe dir ja zwischen Pop-Up-Store-Eröffnung und Soundcheck vor der Warm-Up-Show eine Tasche mit Geschenken, unter anderem die gehäkelte Bone Kitty in die Hand gedrückt. Meine Frage wäre, wie sie dir gefällt. Sorry nochmal, dass ich dich da so überrumpelt habe. Ach, jetzt erinnere ich mich. Stimmt, die gehäkelte Knochenkatze, ja. Erstmal, du hast mich nicht überrumpelt. Sollte ich überrumpelt gewirkt haben, war das einfach nur, ich war schon in Eile zurück. Und dann hast du mich angesprochen und dann wirkte ich wahrscheinlich in Eile, weil ich hatte bereits das Ziel vor Augen, ich muss zurück zum Club. Ich muss sagen, ich kann mich daran erinnern und ich fand das sehr beeindruckend, wie man in der Lage ist, ein, eine Katze aus Knochen, also eine Skelettkatze, zu häkeln. So detailreich. Also das völlig crazy. Also Respekt vor deiner Arbeit, das hast du unglaublich gut gemacht. Das war wirklich beeindruckend. Könntest du dir vorstellen, auf dem nächsten Album mal ein Lied auf Deutsch zu singen? Nein, kann ich mir nicht vorstellen. Es gab sogar ein deutsches Lied, ein Lied, was auf dem Album sein wird, was ich mal geschrieben habe, was eigentlich deutsch war, was ich extra auf Englisch umgetextet habe, weil ich das Gefühl hatte, es ist einfach die falsche Baustelle, wenn auf so einem Lord of Lost Album mittendrin auf einmal so ein deutscher Song ist. Hier und da mal irgendwo als Bonustrack oder vielleicht mal ein komplett deutsches Album von Lord of Lost oder Lord of Lost unter anderem Namen machen, ein deutsches Album. Aber einfach so ein deutscher Song mitten. Ich weiß, viele Bands machen das wie, keine Ahnung, Blutengel zum Beispiel. Aber ich mag das nicht. Ich mag das nicht, wenn eine Band auf einem Album so Sprachen mischt in der Form. Wenn es auf einmal aber überraschende Sprachen sind, sind das was anderes. Ich kann euch nämlich verraten, auf dem nächsten Album wird es einen Song auf Französisch geben. I'm gonna also say this in English. There's gonna be a French song on the next record. Yes, you heard that right. Oui. How does the process of writing the lyrics with Anthony go? Do you write a text and give it to him to edit, or do you tell him what idea you have and he writes it? Do you also let him hear the music for the song? Yes, yes, and yes, and everything else. Sometimes it's just I have lyrics 100% ready and he's just getting it to correct it. Um, Sometimes I just have an idea for a story and I'm like, I don't find the right words, but here's the music and here's me singing in potato English, so which is just like English without real words. So he hears the melody and the phrasing and the emphasis of the words because not all the words have the same emphasis. If you have a word with three syllables, like the word emphasis, then the emphasis is on the M, not on the F, not on the this, because it's emphasis, not emphasis or emphasis. So when he hears my potato English, then you have to construct the lyrics on top of them so they work. Otherwise, when you hear me singing later, it sounds like I'm stumbling through the song. Uh, so it can be everything. And sometimes we're just playing ping pong with lyrics, or sometimes I have like 50% ready. I'm like, hey, Anthony, I have a great chorus. And I have a story for the verse, but I don't know how to put it into words. And I do the same with Pi. I do the same with Benji. I do the same with other people I like to write songs with. It's always the same kind of thing, you know. And now my zipper of the hoodie. Ah, fuck. Look, fucking hell. I hate it. And it's so hard to get these zippers new because like Bench is not creating them anymore. So I buy all of them on eBay. If you find things like these on eBay, extra large preferred because I like oversized, they are lovely. I fucking love them. You can't buy them anymore. If you find them on eBay, please send me a link. Ähm, Gibt es Pläne oder Bestrebungen, mit dem Soloalbum in die sogenannten Mainstream-Medien zu gehen? Auf vielen Radiosendern läuft 80er-Musik. Da würde dein Song doch auch gut passen. Naja, auf vielen Radiosendern läuft 80er-Musik aus den 80ern. Das heißt, wenn jetzt ein Radio sagt, wir sind ein 80er-Radiosender, dann würde die mich aber nicht spielen, weil sind 2020er-Songs, die halt nach 80er klingen. Ne? Also das wird nicht funktionieren. Aber prinzipiell, klar, wir haben natürlich eine Promotion-Agentur, die mit Napalm zusammenarbeitet. Jetzt ist mir wieder warm, scheiße. Ähm, Und die versuchen natürlich auch Airplay zu bekommen. Airplay heißt, dass die Songs im Radio gespielt werden, aber es ist wirklich immer nicht leicht. Also das ist, wenn du halt nicht, da sind wir wieder bei, wenn du nicht Johannes Oerding oder Vincent Weiss bist, ist selbst wenn man Popmusik macht und mein Album ist in der Basis Popmusik, auch wenn die Texte vielleicht ein bisschen düster sind, ist nicht so leicht. Aber sagen wir so, ich arbeite prinzipiell mit fast allen Medien zusammen. Es sei denn, es clasht halt politisch irgendwie völlig und ich habe da keinen Bock drauf. Aber ich habe überhaupt kein Problem mit Mainstream-Medien, also null. How does the process, oh, I already had that. Asking for a friend, literally, as I have already asked my own questions on Facebook. Your own questions? You're asking for a friend. That's so cute. Making a solo album must have been very different compared to making a lot of Lost albums or albums with other bands, and the music style and chosen instruments were quite different compared to what you've used before. What were the biggest differences? Were there were there any you were surprised about? What did you enjoy about making this kind of album? What didn't you enjoy? I actually enjoyed everything. Actually, it wasn't that different. Writing a song takes place mainly in here, and or when I work together with Corvin, then sometimes he starts with the music, so he sends me a little 30 seconds of something. Like, here, I have something. I listen to it, I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. And then the ideas come in my head, and then I send him something back, and we play ping pong, or then we sit down together and do something. And this is all the same, actually. Let's say there are 100 different ways to create a song, and I used some of these 100 ways for this record, and I'm using some of these 100 ways to write songs alone or with the guys for a lot of Lost record or for other artists. So the only difference was that I didn't have to ask anyone if they are fine with the song. What happens with Lord of Lost is like when I contribute a song on my own, or let's say together with Pi, just the two of us, then of course we have to make sure that the rest of the band approves of the song, that they like it. Because if one of them would say like, guys, really, this should not be a Lord of Lost song for this or that reason, then it's something we should talk about. So this was the only difference. Although, funny enough, in Lord of Lost, that never happened. It never happened in 15 years that um, I pitched an idea with someone else from the band, and it got rejected by someone. That never happened. Um, but the only difference was that I actually didn't have to show it to anybody. I didn't have to, but I did. I actually did show the songs to people. I showed them like on the US tour. All these songs were written, and I was in the final like edits and whatever, and we listened to that quite often actually. So I showed it to the others, although I didn't have to, because they were just interested in it. Hi Chris, huge fan here in USA. Was very sick when Lord of Lost was in America recently. So bummed I could not attend. So did you guys have good experience? I hope in the States. Hope next time back this way is not too long from now. It's not going to be this year when we come back, probably next year. Yes, we had good experiences and we had bad ones. You know, the USA is not a special country. No country is special. All countries are the same kind of special or not special. So um, there's good experiences and bad ones. We had very good experiences with the people. Everybody was extremely friendly and nice. Also, like especially at the meet and greets and stuff. Also in Canada, it was really very lovely. Everybody was so open-minded, and this was beautiful. The bad experience was like, let's say the air condition. Like you go in a club and it's like you're just freezing on stage, freezing on the bus, freezing in the backstage, freezing in the supermarkets. Like I just freaking hate it. I despise it really a lot. I don't have a word for how much I hate that. But it's always the case. Wherever you go, there's things you enjoy and things you enjoy less. And we'd love to come back, and I'm pretty sure we will if we get a visa, because now the exact same adventure begins again, that we have to prove ourselves worthy to be able to play in the US, which is ridiculous. The only country in the world where you have to do all this bullshit to play there. You want to play in Canada, you just fly there. You want to play in Mexico, you just fly there. You fill out a little form on the plane. You want to play in China or Russia, of course you need a visa. But it's like this. Playing the US is just, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Ja, but okay. Gibt es ein Projekt, was du bereust? Wenn du die Zeit zurückdrehen könntest, würdest du andere Entscheidungen treffen? Nein, es gibt nicht grundsätzlich ein Projekt, was ich bereue, aber es gibt durchaus Dinge, die ich bereue und Dinge, die nicht gut gelaufen sind und Dinge, die ich in dem Moment hätte anders machen können und sollen, so wie bei jedem Menschen, auch bei musikalischen Projekten, denn auch musikalische Projekte sind nichts weiter als soziale Zusammenrottungen von Menschen. Aber wenn ich die Zeit zurückdrehen könnte, würde ich es, glaube ich, nicht anders machen, weil ich dann weiß, dass wenn ich die Zeit dann zurückgedreht habe und habe diese Sache geändert, dann würde ich jetzt hier nicht so sitzen, wie ich bin. Weil, wenn wir jetzt mal über Zeitreisen-Paradoxie sprechen und mal Paralleluniversen-Kreation, also die Entstehung von Paralleluniversen etc. mal ausschließen, dann würde ich nicht den Status quo der Gegenwart riskieren wollen, nur weil ich irgendwas aus der Vergangenheit ändere. Das würde ich nicht tun. Would you ever do a tour of all your tattoos explaining them? No. No. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Maybe from time to time I feel like there's this one thing, I'm like, hey, there's a story to the tattoo. Then I'm gonna do it. But like going through my body, like a skin doctor, like checking you for molds and taking notes. And like, yeah, no. I appreciate your question and thank you for your interest, but I would feel like very much exposed in a very weird way. So I will tell something here and there when I want. Are there any forms of art that you would like to try in the future that you haven't yet? Yes, I mean, if you consider literature as art, which, I mean, depends on literature, right? A um, scientific book wouldn't be called art, but I'd like to, I'd love to write a book someday. And I think I have everything. I have all the tools for it, but I'm not sure if I could really use them in a good way so that I could really come up with like a good thing in the end, or it would just be like a very cringy try to create a novel and then just hardcore fans would buy it because they love my music and I would feel very much approved because they buy it, but actually it's just like it's real crap. So I really don't know if I should go that path. And at the moment, I just wouldn't know where to take the time. And I'm a very patient character, but I don't know if I have mastered the patience yet to sit down and write a book that big. That's like, yeah, no, maybe a book that big, but not a book that strong. A book that big, like a tiny little book, yeah. Um, Oh, NASA was deleting all the already answered questions. That's very insightful. What challenges have you encountered creating music independently versus working with a band? None. No. I didn't feel it didn't challenge me more or less. It's more like some songs are more challenging. Some songs take more time until you feel like this is it. And some songs after 10 minutes you're like, that's it. So, but there's no like challenge between that in general. Wessen Idee war das Cover zu 1980, also das Artwork, haben wir schon drüber gesprochen. Gibt es ein Projekt, was du bereust? Hatten wir schon Tour of My Tattoos. Du bist immer sehr busy mit deinen vielen Projekten. Woher nimmst du die Energie? Wäre da was für dich anstrengend? Menschen sind für mich anstrengend. Intoleranz ist ziemlich anstrengend. Die Energie, keine Ahnung, Nahrung, Schlaf. Ich kann es nicht sagen. Ich habe nicht das Gefühl, ich habe mehr Energie als andere. Ich glaube, weshalb ich relativ viel schaffe, ist, ich bin ein Teamplayer. Ich mache ganz viel im Team und das sehr gerne. Ich bekomme mehr Lorbeeren für das, was ich tue. Und viele Leute denken, ich mache alles alleine. Dabei mache ich fast alles im Team. Und ich bin in dem, was ich mache, sehr effizient. Ich bin gut in Zeitplanung. Vielleicht sollte ich mal Time-Management-Workshops geben. Liest du gerne? Nein. Also doch, ja. Ich lese gerne wissenschaftliche Bücher und Autobiografien, aber ich lese ungern Romane. Ich gucke mir lieber einen Film an. Is there a special meaning behind your new tattoo and its placement? I think you mean this one, right? No, it just looks beautiful. It's not like that. This symbolizes innocence, and this symbolizes the sun, and this is the moon, and this is, or actually, this means something. I mean, that's a keyhole. And I thought, my voice, which happens directly here. Like I don't know the English word for this thing here. But this is where my voice works. This is kind of like the door. It sounds so much so kitsch and cliche, but this is the door to my inner world. Let's say heart, mind, soul, call it however you want. So a keyhole, which is like is light shining out of that. That just kind of made sense, but it's not ready yet. It's like all the shades are like the shading is missing. It's gonna be done. Okay. Wie stark beeinflusst deine Synästhesie dich beim Songschreiben, kreativen Prozess? Gar nicht, wirklich, gar nicht, glaube ich. What exactly does the word Diaval mean? Um, Maybe you want to search for the ancient meaning of it. Maybe ask Google for it because it's more interesting if you maybe do a little research. What I can tell you is that it's not based on the character in Maleficent. It's not about the character in the movie. It's actually about a dream of mine where there was someone I loved and someone who loved me, and she called me Diego. And maybe it's a dream, maybe it's just me processing a hurtful piece of my life and telling you it's a dream because I don't want it to be too real and to actually put that on the table. I don't know. Your choice. Könntest du dir vorstellen, dass es eines Tages ein Musical of the Lost gibt? So wie das Roxette Musical jetzt gerade. Ne? Aber ich glaube, dafür muss man wirklich, also, dass es ein Musical über dich gibt. Guck mal, über welche Künstler gibt es Musicals? Roxette, Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, Buddy Holly, Beatles wahrscheinlich. Also, da muss man ja wirklich, das wäre crazy. Aber, ja. Aber ich fände es schon sehr witzig. Hey, warum nicht? Vorstellen kann ich mir alles. Ja, das ist das Schöne an der Vorstellung. Aber realistisch gesehen glaube ich eher nicht. Und das ist auch völlig okay. Mm. Hello, Chris. I have a question, perhaps too personal. Ooh. I apologize for this intrusive curiosity of mine. Curiosity is not intrusive. Maybe the question is, let's see. I wanted to ask you why you covered all the tattoos. Oh, I already answered this. If you're here right now, wait for the stream, which most likely will stay online, and check it later. Hi, Chris. When you wrote "I love you," were you thinking of a particular situation or person? Yes, I did. Absolutely. This is a song that I wrote for a certain she. Lord Festival was my first experiences of my first experiences. My first experience. Why do I always want to go plural here? NASA, can you tell me that? Bloodstock was my first experience of Hamburg and St. Pauli. What makes a place so special in your opinion? Nothing. St. Pauli is a dirty shithole, but it's my home. And maybe you know what I'm talking about. Maybe where you live, it feels special to you. But if you look at it, obviously it's not special at all. But it's your home and you love it. Of course, St. Pauli is somehow different compared to many other regions in the world. You know, it's more like a red light district, more like the Camden town or whatever. Many cities have these kind of places, but all in all, it's just a dirty, fucked up piece of Germany where I live, but I love it. Did you ask Corvin to join Lord of Lost before Gerrit? No, I never asked him because I always knew that he wouldn't be interested in playing in a band like ours. That was clear. So the bands he's playing in are like very much different, and he wouldn't be the kind of guy who wants to be on stage with like PVC clothes and makeup and these kind of things. So it was never really an option having him in the original lineup of the band. So he always stayed like a invisible band member of Lord of Lost. And we have him on stage when we play orchestra shows. Then he's sitting there on the second keyboard playing a harpsichord and church organ and all the other funny bits and pieces, tubular bells and whatever, everything that you can do on a keyboard which is not piano. Einige von uns werden langsam nervös, weil es noch keine Ankündigung für ein ESC-Konzert in Basel gibt. Wird es stattfinden? Ich weiß seit heute, und wir werden das in den nächsten Tagen posten, dass es leider nicht stattfinden kann. Es ist unglaublich schwierig in Basel, direkt in Basel was zu finden. Wir könnten in Pratteln spielen, aber das wird den Sinn verfehlen, weil wir in Basel in der Stadt spielen wollen für die ESC-Party-Crowd, die uns als eine weitere ESC-Party sieht. Und in der Schweiz zu spielen ist generell schwer. Es ist arschteuer, es ist schwer. Nichts daran ist leicht, in der Schweiz zu spielen. Das ist mitten in Europa und unser Nachbarland, aber es ist nicht in der EU. Und es sind nur ganz, ganz kleine Clubs da für 200 bis 250 Leute. Und da könnten wir eine kleine Spezial-Akustik-Show machen. Aber wir haben das durchgerechnet und egal wie wir es durchrechnen, wir würden horrende Summen, selbst wenn wir ausverkaufen, an Geld verlieren. Und das möchten wir uns einfach nicht leisten. Da möchten wir das Geld lieber ausgeben und noch ein Musikvideo produzieren, als das Geld zu verbrennen, wegen eines ESC-Konzerts. Deshalb müssten wir da leider von Abstand nehmen. Das funktioniert einfach nicht. Und hoffen, dass wir nächstes Jahr eine gute Möglichkeit finden. Noch eine Frage zu den Chris Harms Musikvideos. Waren die Straßen vor eurer Aufnahme extra gesperrt oder wurde gedreht, als die leer waren? Wurde gedreht, als die leer waren. Das wäre viel zu teuer, das zu sperren. Nee, das wäre zu krass. Wie ist es für dich, Reaktionen, Videos auf Reaction-Videos auf deine Musik zu sehen? Macht Spaß. Ich mag das sehr gern. Another English question. How did you come up with the idea for the Magic Cube? My son came up with it. I asked him, like, what do you think, what kind of merch would be fun in an 80s kind of way? And he's old enough to understand what 80s things are. And he loves the Rubik Cube. He's one of these boys who are able to solve it within 30 seconds, even with closed eyes. Meanwhile, he looks at the thing for like 1 minute or half a minute, and he closes his eyes, and he has a plan what to do, and then he's done. And he's so quick now that he never takes longer than 30 seconds. It's amazing. So he was like, why don't you do a Rubik's cube? I was like, yeah, that's such a good idea. And it was sold out like that. And then I made a second one. There's like 40 left in the shop or something. So if you still want one, it's still there. NASA put all the nice Nice merch thingies here. And yeah, the second box that I did, the action box with the USB stick that has the music videos and the sweatband and the headband and whatnot. What else do I have in there? Oh, something else. Did I forget about it? The CD, of course, and it's a box then. Yeah, I have like 50 of these left. And yeah, I hope I sell them all because they're like it's crazy. They cost me like 30 euro to produce all this shit with it and the CD which is inside of there. So I made like 300 of them. So there goes 30 times 300. That's fun. Um, could you tell something about the Priest song? Would you play it on live shows sometimes? It's my personal favorite, and I'm carrying the words "Break You Priest" on my collarbone. Oh, can you send a picture of that, please? Please send it to management@lordoflost.de if you allow us to um to show to the public. We have this tattoo folder on Facebook where we put all the fan tattoos in. It's great. Um, we already played that live many times, and I'm sure we'll play it again. And I love that song as well. It has a very weird and unique, energetic field. It for me it defines a lot like the whole Judas album. It has everything the Judas album has, and it was one of the first. I think it was the very first song that I wrote for Judas. It was also co-write together with my friend Eike, who I run the Chameleon Studios with. And I think it was the first song I wrote for Judas, and it ended up being the first song on Judas. And it's funny, it's called Priest, and the album is called Judas Priest. I love that. It's a little joke. Ähm, Steht der Titel und die Ästhetik für das neue Lord of Lost Album schon fest? Ja, natürlich. Das Album kommt im Sommer. Wir machen die Fotos und das erste Video in 2 Wochen. Wir drehen ein weiteres Video Mitte Februar. Wir drehen 3 oder 4 weitere Videos Ende Februar, Anfang März und machen noch eine Fotosession. Und natürlich, das steht und das steht auch schon seit einem halben Jahr. Und wir wissen grob schon, in welche Richtung es gehen soll, seit Blood and Glitter fertig war. Wir planen sowas immer sehr, sehr lange. Mm, okay, already had that. Will the song Would You Walk With Me Through Hell be the song you will sing with Anna Maria Rose? Nope. Would You Walk With Me Through Hell is a feature song with a female singer, but quite very well-known female singer. It's not Anna Maria Rose. The song that I sing with Anna Maria Rose from the English band Tales of Time, which we found by posting this thing, Lord of Lost featuring you, question mark. And there were like more than 1,000 people applying. She was one of them. She's insanely talented and such a nice young lady and sings with such an amazing feelings. She sings on a song called The Sadness in Everything. Isn't that a beautiful song title? Gab es Momente während der Produktion deines Soloalbums, die besonders bedeutend für dich waren? Ja, das Einsingen von all den Songs, die für mich sehr persönlich sind, lyrisch gesehen, das hat mich sehr bewegt. Und da kommen mir dann durchaus beim Verarbeiten dieser Gefühle, wenn ich den Song singe, durchaus auch hier und da mal die Tränen, was zum Prozess dazugehört und ich glaube, die Intensität beim Hören dann durchaus auch steigert. Was it important was it important to you to have the support of your bandmates for doing your solo album? Yes, of course, but also no. And you know why? Because we don't even have to discuss that. I know that they support that. the same way I would support any kind of solo project or duo project or whatever they do, side project, or other band, which they do. Like Nick has another band in which he's playing drums, and all of these guys are doing some other things here and there. Benji has another band, actually two. Um, and the thing is, it's important, but at the same time, I do not have to care about it because I know they they support it, and I think I wouldn't want to play in a band with people who would not support that. Because if I would play in a band with someone who would say like, "Uh-huh, you're doing a solo project now. How do you think does that make me feel?" Then there's something, then there would be something terribly wrong within the social structure of that group. So what I did, I when I decided I would do that in mid-June, they were the first people I told. But I didn't ask them. I told them because I knew they would say like, "Cool." So I dropped them a voice message on WhatsApp. I think I was in Greece on holiday. I said like, "Hey guys, I'm finally doing my solo record, and just want to let you know I want to try to release it here and then. I'm not going to announce it before Lordfest to not compromise that because I don't want to be in competition with myself, you know, and I want to compromise anything which is in the group's interest, and they know that. And and I asked them for input. I was like, "Do you think that's a good timeline? Or do you have any input?" And they were like, "No, we think this is a good choice to have it between then and there. Then it really fits." And they were like, "Yeah, good luck, have fun. If you need help, let me know." And they were curious to hear something here and there. So whenever I saw one of them, I was like, "Hey, I have something you want to hear." So yeah, this is the way we are, the way we work, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way. Wie ist eigentlich die Lords of Fire Tour aufgebaut? Ich muss noch mal kurz die Nase putzen, sorry. So, wie ist eigentlich die Lords of Fire Tour aufgebaut? Singt ihr da jeder abwechselnd seine Songs oder kommt in Zukunft noch mehr von Feuerschwanz featuring Lord of Lost? Weder noch. Also, es kommt nicht noch ein Song zusammen und wir singen auch nicht abwechselnd. Das wäre total chaotisch. Wir spielen gleichzeitig. Wir spielen in der Halle auf zwei Bühnen, die auf verschiedenen Seiten sind. Und jede Band versucht lauter zu sein als die andere. Und die es am Ende geschafft hat, mehr Leute auf ihre Seite zu ziehen oder mit der Lautstärke die Fans der anderen Bands zu töten, die hat gewonnen. Nein, es ist eine Double-Headliner-Show, das heißt, wir haben einen Special Guest, die spielen zuerst The Dark Side of the Moon und heißen die so? Ja. Und dann spielen Feuerschwanz, aber wir spielen beide auf der gleichen Bühnengröße, mit dem gleichen Bühnenaufbau, beide mit der gleichen geilen Lightshow, der gleichen geilen Pyro-Show, dem gleichen geilen Sound, beide gleich lang, also komplettes Headliner-Set und dann werden einfach nur die Verkleidungen, also das Backdrop hinten und alle anderen Elemente einmal kurz umgetauscht und hinten der Drumriser, wo das Schlagzeug draufsteht, rausgezogen und der nächste Drumriser rein, wie Lego und dann spielt die nächste Band. Also sind quasi zwei Headliner-Shows nacheinander. Und wir spielen als zweites, weil bei The Dark Side of the Moon spielen noch zwei Leute von Feuerschwanz. Und das wäre total doof, wenn die spielen, dann Feuerschwanz, dann wir. Deshalb ergibt es Sinn, dass wir in der Mitte spielen. Zack, zack, zack. I have a degenerative condition that keeps me in perpetual pain, but I escape that when I listen to your music. Did you know how powerful of a healer your music is? Oh, thank you for your wording, for saying it this way. This is really touching. Thank you so much. I don't know how much of a healer my music is, but I can imagine because music of other people can be the exact same kind of being a powerful healer to me than my music might be to you, although I obviously don't have these kind of pain management problems as you. So this is always like the best compliment when people tell me that my music is actually helping them and makes them happy and is giving them comfort. And so I wish you all the best, and whatever it is that you suffer under, I hope life doesn't give you too many lemons. And if my music can help, um, I'm happy to hear that. Bist du immer zufrieden mit den Liedern, wenn sie fertig sind? Und sind sie dann für dich perfekt? Oder denkst du manchmal nach der Veröffentlichung, dies und jenes hätte ich anders machen sollen? Also, ich bin natürlich zufrieden, sonst würde ich sie nicht veröffentlichen. Ich würde nie was veröffentlichen, mit dem ich nicht zufrieden bin. Ähm, Manchmal ist es ein paar Jahre später, dass man in was wieder reinhört und denkt, oh, das würde ich heute nicht mehr veröffentlichen. Aber das ist okay. Ähm, Das ist so wie sich Kinderfotos anschauen oder auch Fotos von vor 10 Jahren oder so. Und man denkt, okay, was hatte ich denn für einen bescheuerten Haarschnitt? Was ist denn das für ein hässliches Foto von mir? Ähm, ja, also das ist ganz normal, weil man sich eben verändert. In dem Moment, wo ich es rausbringe, ist es für mich das Optimum und dann bin ich damit zufrieden. Auch wenn ich vielleicht denke, man hätte es noch besser machen können, aber ich habe zum Glück die Fähigkeit, das Ende zu finden. Also ich habe zum Glück die Fähigkeit, zu sagen, jetzt ist der Song fertig. Und nicht, ich muss jetzt 10 Jahre dran arbeiten, bis er endlich perfekt ist, weil er wird nie perfekt, sondern er wird immer nur so gut, wie man eben gerade kann. Und ähm, ja, ich bin total happy mit dem, was ich rausbringe. Sonst würde ich es nicht rausbringen. Das ist für mich Trueness, ja. Also Sachen zu veröffentlichen, die einen total glücklich machen. Und man sagt, hey, das gefällt mir. Are you still taking regular photos of yourself in front of your computer, like those for the YouTube 2009 to 2019 time-lapse video? I found it fascinating, but what was the reason for doing that? Yes, I still do that. Yes, I will be a little more cautious when I post it because I plan to post the next one in 2029 and call it Chris Harms 29 till 2029. So it's 5 years still. But I will be more cautious because when I posted that, some people thought I was dead. And so maybe who knows? Maybe that and I will be dead, but yeah, I still do that. Like once a day. Sometimes I forget it. Sometimes it's 2 pictures a day when I change locations. I could actually do one now. Let me do one now. So maybe I should do something so when you see this in 5 years, you remember it was that evening. I always have to take care. It's the same kind of angle in this room. The camera. Maybe I'll do this with my pencil, right? Take a picture. Okay, there you go. 3, 2. There you go. In 5 years, you can look out for this picture and take a screenshot. Okay, let's get back to it. The reason, I don't know, I think I saw some time-lapse video of the same kind by someone else and thought like, hey, that's a fun idea. Why not do that? I think, I don't remember. But yeah, I tend to I either do things 100% or not at all. So I think I will do this till the day I die. Kannst du dir vorstellen, einen deiner Solo-Songs auch mal bei einer Lord of Lost Show zu spielen? Nee, kann ich mir momentan nicht vorstellen. Wer weiß, was passiert, aber irgendwie nee. Und wie auch, das ist 100% elektronische Musik und dann müssen sich alle hinstellen und Gerrit drückt auf Play bei einem Computer und spielt dazu 2 Töne auf dem Keyboard und ich singe. Das ist irgendwie lame. Nee. 2 questions. Is 1980 an isolated project? You just felt the need to do it? No, it's not a project. 1980 is the album name of my Chris Harms solo record. Or is it the start of something much bigger? I think it's also not the start of something much bigger. It's a start of something, but not much bigger. So I do this record. I'm gonna do a second one in the same style. And if I like it, I will keep doing that. But maybe I change the style, do something else under my name. Also, are you ever likely to tour with your cello outside of Germany? I don't know. Maybe. Can't say at the moment. So far, there are no plans for any. I think you are referring to the classical shows. Um, no classical shows planned so far, not even in Germany. So I don't know. Wollte nur mal sagen, dass das Lordfest 2024 wirklich das geilste Erlebnis war, was ich musikalisch je hatte. Ich war noch nie so unendlich happy nach einem Konzert. Super. Danke. Das ist wirklich süß. Das ging mir ähnlich. Ich muss auch sagen, es war für mich eins unserer absoluten Highlights und ich kann nicht erwarten, ähm, das dieses Jahr wieder zu machen. Und NASA, we have to talk about the stage design because basically we're gonna keep a very kind of similar structure, but I want to do some changes to it. So let's talk about that soon. This is going to be fun because it worked so well. NASA did the entire stage design. So when you see all the stage, not only where the lights are, so like really like everything, all the elements, all the architecture of it, she did that and always showed it to me. And I maybe here and there had like two little tiny details saying, what about this? But it's mainly her thing. So it was just great. Okay, wird es von einigen 1980-Songs wie in den 80er Jahren nicht unüblich, eventuell auch Extended Versions geben? Eine tatsächlich, von dem Song Lunamore, der demnächst auch rauskommt, kurz vor der Release, gibt es eine Club Edition, die an die DJs geht, weil Lunamore beginnt sehr ruhig, nur mit so einer Keyboardfläche und Gesang und das ist nicht wirklich clubkompatibel. Also gibt es eine längere Club Edition, die mit Beats beginnt und auch mit Beats aufhört. Aber nichts, was geplant ist, irgendwie rauszubringen. Das war ja so ein typisches Ding in den 80ern, 90ern, das dann auf irgendwelche Maxi-CDs zu packen als B-Seiten, aber sowas machen wir ja nicht. Mhm. Oder mache ich nicht in diesem Fall. Es ist schwer, sich abzugewöhnen, von wir zu sprechen, weil ich immer von wir spreche bei Lord of Lost, ne? Wisst ihr schon ungefähr, wann der erste Act fürs Lordfest bekannt gegeben wird? Nee, wissen wir nicht. Wir haben zwei Acts schon quasi fast gebucht. Also haben wir angefragt und die hätten wir sehr gerne. Und wir müssen eigentlich nur auf den Knopf drücken und sagen Go. Und dann sind die 100% bestätigt, müssen die noch einen Vertrag unterschreiben und gut. Und wir arbeiten aber noch an einer Position, wo wir im Moment so ein paar Optionen haben, ein paar Anfragen raus sind. Ich weiß nicht, wann wir die ersten veröffentlichen. Aber wir werden relativ bald schon unsere Pre-Party oder die Warm-Up-Show veröffentlichen, was eine tatsächlich die große Lord of Lost Karaoke-Nacht werden wird, wo nicht nur wir auf der Bühne stehen, sondern auch ihr die Chance habt, mit uns zusammen zu singen. Ähm, Das Konzept stellen wir euch dann noch vor. Neben einem normalen Konzert natürlich. Das heißt, es wird ein langes Konzert, wo wir das mischen, dass wir mit euch singen oder eben ohne euch. Ähm, und dann wird es eine Aftershow-Party geben. Das alles in neuen Locations, weil das Grünspan, wo wir jetzt zum Beispiel die Party hatten, das wird umgebaut und so. Also wir ziehen eine größere Party-Location, dass ihr auch mehr Platz zum Tanzen habt und so. Und das wird geil. Ähm, Chris, do you ever hold back writing some songs because they are too personal and you don't want to speak about them? No, because when I write a song, I that happens here. It's like thinking, and I never don't want to speak to myself about something, so I don't hold back. Maybe I hold back releasing them. There's like 25 to 30 songs that I wrote, which will probably never be released because of that. And there are demos of that, and no one will ever listen to them except for myself. But um, I don't hold back with the writing. I hold back with releasing them. Kam es dir schon mal in den Sinn, ein Duett mit deinem Sohn zu singen? Nee, nee. Mein Sohn ist auch überhaupt kein Sänger. Das ist nichts, was ihn interessiert. Er spielt Schlagzeug, so aus Spaß. Aber das würde ich, also auch wenn er nicht aktiv auf mich zukäme und sagen würde, Papa, ich habe Bock, mit dir einen Song zu singen und den zu veröffentlichen, dann würde ich ihn auch nie fragen. Also das ist etwas, da würde ich auf ihn warten, ob er auf mich zukommt. Aber ich denke, das wird nie passieren, weil ihn das überhaupt nicht interessiert, zu singen. Also null. Um, how long did it take you to create the music and lyrics for all 11 songs on your solo album? With June, July, August, September, 3 months, 3 months, 3.5 months. Yeah. And I'd like to ask one more thing in response to a comment you wrote that you might do a few solo concerts in Germany. Are you planning on that? No, I just said like I'm doing this one at the Mariluna Festival, and I might do that again here and there sometime, but I'm not gonna do this year, and most probably not next year. And it's highly likely that I will never do that again, that the first concert will be the last forever. I don't have any plans about that. I only know that I don't want to tour with that on a regular basis, at least not as long as Lord of Lost exists. If for any reason Lord of Lost has to end, which I don't plan and which is not planned at all in no future scenario. But if for whatever reason Lord of Lost has to stop touring, then it would make sense for me to go on tour as Chris Harms and playing all the songs from all the bands that I had in my life. But if that's not happening, I don't see a reason to tour. Do you and the other Lord of Lost guys ever still hang out as friends? Or do you? Yes, we do. Or do you only get together when it's work related? No. But also, yes, as friends, and yes, work related. You mentioned recently about your social battery and that 2 hours a day with them is enough. 2 hours with anyone is enough. It's not only them. And this is already a lot. Like with most people, 10 minutes are more than enough for me. With some people, it's hard for me to be with them for more than 1 minute. It's like 2 hours is for me like the maximum in most cases with family and close friends, and then I just have to disappear. It's like I am that kind of person who is so overwhelmed, because the social energy and interactions and everything being in the same room, um, I'm realizing all of these things. It's like unfiltered input to me, and I have no way to filter that out. And then I'm full after 2 hours, and then I need to decompress somehow on my own. Ähm, Melissa Bonney als Frontgrunzerin. Ich finde ja das Wort Grunzerin ist ja ein furchtbares Wort, aber auch sehr lustig. Als Frontgrunzerin gibt es dann auch Backgrunzerin. Als Frontgrunzerin in den Strophen und du mit clean Vocals im Chorus wäre auch mal ein interessantes Experiment. Wäre das was für dich? Ja, aber Melissa Bonney einfach nur zum Grunzen sich hinzustellen, fände ich jetzt irgendwie auch schade. Ja, die kann ja auch ganz hervorragend clean singen. Also das fände ich schade. Also wenn ich mal ein Duett mit Melissa machen sollte, dann würde ich mir wünschen, dass sie auch clean singt und nicht nur grunzt. Auch wenn das Wort Frontgrunzerin wirklich ein sehr interessantes Wort ist. How long did it take you to create? Oh, I already had that. Okay, let me see, because I need to leave quite soon. And then we're gonna rate to Johnny of Soulbound. So let me do one more English question and one more German one. I start with an English one. Give me some time. Hmm. I already had all of them. So many English ones. Nasa, you choose one more English one, and I answer the German one first. German question. Sind die Songs auf deinem Soloalbum eigentlich alle ausgedacht oder sind die echt? Nee, auf meinem Soloalbum sind keine echten Songs, keine richtigen Songs. Da habe ich mir alle nur ausgedacht. Es tut mir total leid. Also, wenn ihr richtige Songs wollt, dann müsst ihr zu anderen Künstlern gehen. Ich denke mir meine Songs immer nur aus. Das tut mir leid. Okay, Nasa, did you find something? I see her like, do you know copy paste? You don't have to retype all of that. There it is. That's a German one. Okay, I'm going to do this German one and then an English one. Okay, please find another English one. Gibt es eigentlich Pläne, das Lordfest größer zu machen, also 6 bis 8 Bands und schon ab Mittag anfangen? Comment from NASA, bitte nein, der Tag ist zu lang genug. um, the thing is, if we would do that, we would need the concert hall for 2 days, which is because if you know, the production of Lordfest began at 6 o'clock in the morning. The concert hall is empty. There's no stage, no speakers, no lights, nothing. It's empty. 6 in the morning it starts. At 4 o'clock at night, everything has to be gone. So they have 2 hours of cleaning. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, the next project can go in. It's possible to do that in maybe other cities where the rental of a concert hall isn't that expensive. Then you can go there, you have one production day, you set up everything, and then the next day you play the concert, which is premium. NASA would love that. You go there and you have one full day of building all the stuff, doing the sound check as the main band. At the next day at 6 in the morning, the first band comes, does their sound check, everybody's easy, and then at 12 at noon, the doors open. At 1, the first band plays, and you have like a long, long festival. It's beautiful. But in Hamburg, if you play a place like Sporthalle, just the rental of the hall, that's not 2,000 euro. It's not 20,000 euro. It's way, 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 way more just for that. And we would have to sell tickets for that for like 100 euro each to make that happen. So it's a nice and lovely idea, but no. Interesting last. Why didn't I answered that in English, right? It was a German question. Yeah, whatever. It's late. Okay, last question, English. Is a bad live sound always the fault of the sound guy? No, it can be the fault of the sound guy. It can be the fault of many other things. Sometimes it's not really possible to do a good sound in certain acoustic environments. Sometimes the acoustic environment is great, but the system that hangs there on the roof is shit. Or the system is like installed in a shit way because all those speakers, they have to be in certain kind of phases to one another. And if some things are out of phase or not well organized within the sound system, it can sound shit. Sometimes you have the best system. It's all well set. You have a great sound guy. Then you play outside and then there's a lot of wind. How does sound waves move? They move through particles in the air. So there's a sound like moving the first particle. They're all magnetic. So this one particle moves the next one. This one moves the other one. So they move. And then there's wind. So what appears first, what goes away first in the wind are certain kinds of frequencies. So you stand somewhere outside and at one moment there's just no treble or no bass or whatever. So it's so many possibilities why sound can be shit, although everything is in perfect match. Sometimes it's other things. Sometimes the sound guy is good, the weather is good, or it's not even outside. The system is good, but it doesn't really click together, you know? It's just like two people not in sync with each other because the sound guy is used to work on a different system. And he might be great on that system, but not on that. Then the question is the sound guy a great sound guy if he's not compatible to a different system? So many questions. You know, it's like live sound isn't that easy. And this is why we are always so pissed when we play at a festival and before us there's a laptop band. Everything comes from the laptop because of like an electronic act. And then there's some some vocals are live and 90% of the vocals are from the laptop, and everything sounds great because it's just push play plus some additional live vocals in. Then we come with our 42 live signals from the stage, and it doesn't sound that fat and that homogenic and that nice like the laptop band. And they go like, oh, this laptop band, that sounded so much better. And we're like, yeah, because playing a CD basically with some stuff on top, it's not so hard, you know. And then there's so many bands out there, big bands, smaller bands, what they deliver and what they sell people as being live. There's so much from tape, and it's getting more and more, sadly. There's so much from tape, so much fake. I freaking hate that. So we either have a shit sound here and there, but we're humans creating art, music. This is something which is true to me. You know, I have zero problems having lots of additional electronic sound elements from the computer. We do that as well because Garrity only has two hands, but we don't want to play guitars or drums or like my vocals from tape, or I don't know, having instrumentalists that are as essential for a rock or metal band coming from tape because there's not even a person on the stage playing the instrument. I don't like that. So this is not going to happen with us. So we will rate now to Johnny of Soulbound. I'm not sure if he knows about that. Maybe you could all write in the comments, Surprise, on Deutsch, Überraschung. And I'm gonna stay here for 2 minutes and watch this. Thank you very much. NASA, we can keep this online. Please give it to Garrett so he can upload it on YouTube and share it everywhere. It's been lovely. And yeah, if you want to still tip money, the bank is open till midnight. Thank you very much. Much love, and see you soon. Bye bye bye.